The sixth grade class is putting on a variety show to raise money. It costs $700 to rent the banquet hall they are going to use. If they charge $15 for each ticket, what is the minimum number of tickets they need to sell in order to raise at least $1,000? At least is a key word. So we've got $700 that we know we're going to have to spend to rent this banquet hall. All right, now we know that we're going to charge $15 per ticket or for each ticket. All right, so that's where our variable is going to go. And after we spend the $700 and sell those tickets, we need to raise at least $1,000. Remember, at least means greater than or equal to. So now I'm going to solve this inequality. The first thing I'm going to do is subtract 700 from both sides. And I get 15x is greater than or equal to 300. Now the next step is for me to divide both sides by 15. 15x divided by 15 gives me x is greater than or equal to 20 because 300 divided by 15 gives me 20. So the question said, what is the minimum number of tickets they need to sell? And the answer is C, 20. Which of the following scenarios can be modeled by the inequality 2,000 minus 25x is greater than 400? So we know that the sign is greater than. So we can go ahead and eliminate anything that does not mean greater than. So let's look at these options. A says Olivia has $2,000 in her savings account. She withdraws $25 every month to pay her cell phone bill. What is the number of monthly withdrawals she can make and keep a balance of less than $400 in her account? So that is not going to be the answer because our sign says greater than. We can also look at choice D right here and see this less than and know that it's not an option. So let's read B. Olivia has $2,000 in her savings account. She withdraws $25 every month. Withdrawals mean we take away. All right, so we will subtract that. What is the number of monthly withdrawals she can make and keep a balance of over $400 in her account, which means greater than. Now let's compare B and C. The only difference is that B says she withdraws the $25 and C says she deposits the $25. If we deposit, we are adding to. If we withdraw, we are subtracting from. So we're going to use the one that says withdraw because we are subtracting. So answer choice B is the correct answer. Look at the inequalities shown below. Decide whether each statement is true or false. So this one says negative 2 is a solution to A, C, and D only. So let's look at A. Is negative 2 less than negative 1? And that is true. Let's look at C. Is negative 2 greater than or equal to negative 2? It is equal to. And let's look at D. Is negative 2 less than or equal to 0? And that is true also. So number 3 is true. Let's look at number 4. It says 0 is a solution to A and D only. So let's look at A. We'll say 0 is less than negative 1. Is 0 less than negative 1? That is not true, so we're going to write false. Number 5 said negative 0.5 is a solution to C and D. So let's look at C. Negative 0.5 is greater than or equal to negative 2. That is true. All right, let's look at D. Negative 0.5 is less than or equal to 0. That is true also, so number 5 is true. Let's look at 6. 1 is a solution to B. B says is 1 greater than 1. 1 is not greater than 1. All right, let's look at number 7. Negative 7 is a solution to A and D, so let's test it for A. Negative 7 is less than negative 1. That is true, and let's test it in D. Negative 7 is less than or equal to 0. That is true also, so number 7 is true. All right, let's look at number 8. 3 is a solution to B and C. So let's test it in B. 3 is greater than 1. That is true. And let's test it in C. 3 is greater than or equal to negative 2. That is true also. So number 8 is true. All right, which value is a solution of the inequality more? It's of the inequality below. So we're going to have to solve this. 8 minus 5c is less than or equal to negative 12. All right, so the first step is going to be to subtract 8 from both sides. I'll give you just a second to write that down. Bless you. Miss Drake's trying to make noises during my video. All right, so now we're going to have negative 5c is less than or equal to negative 20. All right, my next step is to divide both sides by negative 5. Negative 5 divided by negative 5 leaves me with c. I have to flip my sign because I have a negative coefficient, or I multiplied or divided by negative. Negative 20 divided by negative 5 gives me positive 4. So my inequality says that c is greater than or equal to 4. So the solution can be any number that is greater than 4. And the only number up here greater than 4 is 5. All right, which value is a solution of the inequality below? I'm going to rework this or rewrite it so I can have room to work it. The first thing I'm going to have to do is distributive property. 2 times f is 2f. 2 times 5 is 10. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is subtract 10 from both sides. And I get 2f is greater than or equal to negative 11. Now I'm going to divide 2 by both sides. And I get f is greater than or equal to negative 5.5. So in my answer choices, I'm having to find a number that is greater than or equal to negative 5.5. Now remember, with negative numbers, the smaller the negative number, the greater its value. So negative 5 is the only number that is greater than or equal to negative 5.5. Which value is a solution of the inequality below? All right, so we're going to have to use distributive property. So we're going to say 1/2 times 2. Remember, we put that whole number over 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 divided by 2 just gives me 1. So we're just going to leave our x. You don't have to put that 1 in front of that x. Now we're going to say 1/2 times 4. 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. 4 divided by 2 gives me 2. So we're going to have x plus 2 is less than negative 9. All right, so now we subtract 2 from both sides, and we get x is less than negative 11. So, which of these solutions is less than negative 11? And the answer is negative 12 is the only number less than negative 11. All right, which value is the solution of the inequality below? The first thing I'm going to do is subtract 8 from both sides because I've got to get the variable by itself. Negative 2 minus 8 is negative 10. My next step is to divide both sides by negative 2. Negative 10 divided by negative 2 gives me 5. Now, I'm going to flip the sign because I divided by a negative. So, when I rewrite this, we get that x is greater than 5. Because remember, I rewrite this with the variable on the left side. And kind of think about it, the alligator eating that bigger amount or whatever. So, it's still going to open up to that x even when I rewrite it. So, the only value that's greater than 5 is 9. All right, so for these, we are going to solve and then graph. The first step for number 13 is to subtract 5 from both sides. And we get negative 2x is less than 6. Then we divide negative 2 by both sides. Since we divided by a negative, we have to flip the sign. And our final answer is x is greater than negative 3. Now, you can do your number line however you want it to be, but it does have to be in numerical order. You can't write 3, 6, 9, negative 3, negative 6, negative 9. It's actually got to make sense in reality. All right, so I'm going to have an open circle at negative 3, and it's greater than negative 3, so I'm going to go in the direction to the right. All right, let's look at number 14. The first thing I'm going to have to do is distributive property. Negative 3 times k is negative 3k. Negative 3 times 7 is negative 21. Now I'm going to add 21 to both sides. And I get negative 36 is greater than or equal to negative 3k. Now I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3. Negative 36 divided by negative 3 is positive 12. I have to flip my sign because I divided by that negative coefficient. And then I can rewrite this with my variable on the correct side. So k is greater than or equal to 12. I'm going to do my number line starting at 10 and do 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We're going to have a closed circle at 12, and k is greater than or equal to 12, so we're going to go in the greater than direction. All right, we've got some decimals here. The first thing I'm going to do is subtract 1.7 from both sides, and I get 0.4p is less than 1.6. Now I divide 0.4 from both sides, and I have p is less than 4. I do my number line by 2, so you can do it however you want to as long as it makes sense. I'm going to have an open circle at 4. P is less than 4, so it's going to go in the less than direction. All right, we've got a fraction here. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract 5 from both sides. So I've got 10 and 1/4 minus 5. So I'm going to make this an improper fraction. 4 times 10 is 40 plus 1 is 41 over 4 minus 5 over 1. Anytime I add or subtract fractions, I have to have a common denominator. 4 times 1 is 4, so 41 times 1 is 41. 1 times 4 is 4, so 5 times 4 is 20. And we get 21 over 4. So now we have negative 3/8d is less than or equal to 21 over 4. Now I've got to divide both sides by -3/8. So I have 21/4 divided by -3/8. I keep, change, flip. 21 times -8 is 168. 4 times 3 is 12. When I say 168 divided by 12, I get that D. I have to flip the sign because I divided by a negative, is greater than or equal to 12. So now do the number line. All right, so we're going to have a closed circle at 12. All right, D is greater than or equal to 12, so it's going to move in the greater than direction. All right, Jeremiah started a car washing business. He spent $60 on supplies and charges $55 per car. Write the inequality that could represent the number of cars he must wash in order to earn a profit of more than $300. We can go ahead and write that more than $300. More than is going to be the greater than sign. And we've got the $300. Now, he charges $55 per car. However, he has a cost of $60. Anytime you have a cost, you subtract that amount. So now we're going to add 60 to both sides. Then we get 55x is greater than 360. Now we divide 55 by both sides. We get x is greater than 6.5. And that's the final answer. All right, Tamara has a cell phone plan that costs her a monthly fee of $19. I'm going to go ahead and write this as it gives me the information. Plus 7 cents per minute. When you see that word per, that's normally where your variable goes. She can spend no more than. No more than means less than or equal to. Remember, no more than and no less than are the ones that kind of work opposite of the way they sound. All right, so what is the maximum number of minutes Tamara could use on her phone each month and stay within budget? The first thing we're going to do is subtract 19 from both sides. And we get 0.07x added an equal sign, is less than or equal to 1050. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 0.07. X is less than or equal to 150. So she can talk less than or equal to 150 minutes. All right, you and your friends have pooled your money and have $12 to spend on lunch. You agree to share a large fry and buy hamburgers with the rest of the money. If the price of a large fry is $1.22 and the price of a hamburger is 89 cents, how many hamburgers can you buy? So we're going to put the variable with the 89 cents. And this amount of food that we buy is going to have to be less than or equal to $12 because that's all that you and your friends have. Now we're going to subtract $1.22 from both sides. We're going to get 0.89x is less than or equal to 1078. Now you're going to divide both sides by 0.89. And you get x is less than or equal to 1211. So in reality, we can only buy 12 hamburgers. Because you can't buy 11/10 of a hamburger. If you leave that as the decimal, I will take that because I'll know you're giving me the exact answer. But I want you to think realistically. If it was multiple choice and just had 12, then that would be the correct answer. A contestant in a weight loss competition wants to lose no less than 50 pounds in the 4-month competition. If she has already lost 16 pounds, how many more pounds must he lose over the next 4 months? So we're going to say the 16 pounds they've already lost plus the 4 months times the amount he's gonna lose over the next 4 months has to be greater than or equal to 50, because no less than means greater than or equal to. You're going to subtract 16 from both sides, and you'll get 4x is greater than or equal to 34. Then you'll divide both sides by 4, and you'll get x is greater than or equal to 8.5. So he needs to lose greater than or equal to 8.5 pounds each month to reach the goal. Good luck on your test tomorrow.